Whispers in the walls. The old Callahan house stood at the edge of the woods, a crumbling relic of another time. Over the years, its broken windows and rotting beams had become the stuff of local legend. They said strange noises could be heard at night, soft whispers and footsteps echoing from within. No one dared enter. No one, except for Erin. Erin had always been drawn to the house. She told herself it was curiosity, but deep down, it was Moria's need to prove that the stories were just that, stories. Armed with a flashlight, a notebook, and her courage, she decided to spend the night there. The air inside was thick, as though the house itself was breathing. Erin stepped into the entryway, her flashlight revealing peeling wallpaper and broken furniture. The smell of mildew was overwhelming. As she moved deeper into the house, the creak of the floorboards beneath her feet sounded deafening. The first strange thing she noticed was the silence. The kind of silence that seemed to press against her ears, making her feel like she wasn't alone. She shook off the unease and began exploring. The living room was empty save for an old rocking chair that moved slightly, as if caught in a draft. But there was no wind. Erin frowned and moved on. Climbing the staircase to the second floor, upstairs, the whispers began. Faint at first, almost imperceptible, like the rustle of leaves. Erin froze, her flashlight darting across the hallway. It was empty. Still, she heard them soft, overlapping voices that seemed to seep from the walls themselves. Her heart pounded as she opened the door to one of the bedrooms. Inside, the whispers stopped. The room was cold, colder than it should have been. The walls were covered in strange markings, scratched into the plaster. Symbols she didn't recognize, jagged and chaotic. In the center of the room was an old mirror, its surface cloudy with age. As Erin approached, her flashlight flickered and died. She cursed, fumbling for her spare batteries. In the brief darkness, she felt Ida's presence. The air grew heavier, and her skin prickled with the sensation of being watched. When she finally got the flashlight working again, the beam fell on the mirror. Her reflection was smiling. Erin stumbled back, dropping the flashlight. It rolled across the floor, casting long, shifting shadows. The reflection in the mirror didn't mimic her movements. Instead, it leaned closer, pressing its hands against the glass. Erin's breath hitched as the figure in the mirror whispered her name. Erin, the sound came not from the mirror, but from behind her. She spun around, the flashlight shaking in her hands. The hallway was empty, but the whispers had returned, louder now, echoing all around her. Panicking, Erin bolted down the stairs. But the house seemed different, longer, darker. Doors that had been closed were now open, revealing rooms filled with shadowy figures. They stood motionless, their heads tilted as they watched her. Reaching the front door, Erin grabbed the handle and pulled, but it wouldn't budge. The whispers grew into a cacophony, 100 voices overlapping, filling her mind with unintelligible words. She screamed, pounding on the door, but the house wouldn't let her go. Behind her, the mirror from upstairs had appeared in the living room. Her reflection was there, no longer smiling, but grinning a wide, unnatural grin that split its face. It stepped out of the mirror, its movements jerky and wrong. As it approached, the whispers turned to laughter. Erin backed away, her legs weak, until she tripped and fell. The last thing she saw was her reflection leaning over her, its cold hands reaching for her face. When the townspeople found Erin's car the next morning, parked outside the Callahan house, it was empty. The house itself was silent once more, its secrets hidden in the walls. But if you stood close enough, you might hear the faint sound of laughter echoing inside.